All right. Last one, communication intensive assignment number 3. This is a collaborative report. So I'm going to go over the assignment itself, and actually I'm going to go into quite a bit of detail on this one. Then I'm going to show you some specific examples, quick review of chapters 7 and 8, and then some tips. So this is the actual assignment, okay? You are going to very heavily use chapter 7 for this one. 8 is a skim over chapter, okay? But 7 is pretty much a read every word chapter. So your job is to work as a group to create a formal report on your findings at any airport or aviation museum. It can be either physical or virtual. Okay? Again, the assignment is a group assignment and it only requires a final draft. So, you have your formatting skills, your technical writing and technique skills, your collaborative report skills, and working as a team skills. Okay? And I'm not talking about the skills textbook. These are skills, hopefully, that you've learned in the class to this point. If you look under the readings, the very bottom one, you've got this lecture, but the two above that, you've got collaborative report examples, and then the top one is reading chapters 7 and 8. Your assignment. Your report should be a minimum of 10 pages. Okay, and then it goes into the details of what's included in those 10 pages. Now, this is the same list as that one I just skipped, okay, because I want to spend some time on it. So you need a letter of transmittal. That goes first. Then you need a title page. That goes second. Then you need acknowledgments. That goes third. Disclaimers goes fourth. An executive summary goes fifth. A table of contents goes sixth. List of tables and figures goes seventh. And then you have your actual, like the bulk of it, your introduction, discussion, conclusions, recommendations. Then you have a glossary. Then you have references. And then you have appendices. So now you're asking, well, how do I know what all those things are? That's where reading chapter 7 is extremely important for this specific assignment. Okay. Also, reading over those examples that are on your assignment is extremely important because it tells you how to do every single one of those things. I'm going to review it a little bit, but you guys are going to have to spend some time together as a team on this part. So, the assignments that are related to CI assignment number 3. The first one is 4.6, and it's just a check-in. Okay. By that point in time, you should have at least started on your actual assignment. You definitely should have had an airport or museum picked by then. And preferably, like everybody should have assignments in your group and you should have a document started. Some of you will be way farther along than that, but at least started. A week later, you have your Writing Fellows meeting or Center 3. So, Writing Fellows is for the fall, the Writing Center is for the summer. And then you have a 5.2 final submission that is very, very close to the end of the semester. In your check in, I actually only need one person in your group to submit to this assignment, and it's extremely simple assignment. Tell me how's it going? What issues are there? What questions do you have? What do you need to do before you have a draft ready in 1 week? Now, why do you need a draft ready in 1 week? Because you have to have your draft ready for your Writing Fellows meeting. Now, I don't have an actual assignment up there for you to turn your draft in, but you can't do your Writing Fellows meeting without a draft. Now, the other difference in this assignment is for your Writing Fellows meeting for the fall or your online writing center for the summer, only one person in your group needs to do it. More can do it if you guys would like to, but only one person needs to. Okay, you can have 2 go, you can have 5 go, you can have everybody go, like it doesn't matter. But at least one person needs to complete it, and then everybody in the group gets a grade for that. So it's a really good thing for somebody to be assigned to do, basically. Okay. And then you have your actual collaborative report. So these are the same, this is the same screenshot that was on at the very beginning of this. Okay. I want to just make sure you guys focus on those readings. You need to read chapter 7. You need to look at the example reports, and obviously you need to be paying attention to this lecture, okay? This is one of the examples, kind of how it looks. This is a letter of transmittal from one group. This is a letter of transmittal from another group. And those are, again, the examples that are included on the assignment readings. Okay, this is an example of table of contents. This is part of the discussion or findings. Okay, so I'm going to spend quite a bit of time on this slide here. Chapter 7, formal reports. I've had you guys review this chapter earlier in the semester, at least asked you to, okay? But now it's time to really dig into it. You have to remember that formatting is the real focus. Pay attention to all the specific parts that are in this chapter. Use the examples to help you. Okay, so a letter of transmittal. If you turn to page 119, it's part of the report. It's a courtesy exclusive to the person receiving the report. So in other words, you are going to write me a letter, okay, because I am the one receiving your report. The letter needs purpose of the report, authorization of the report, which I am giving to you guys, main conclusions, so like a brief summary, comments that don't belong in the report but may be interesting to me, like how you guys worked together, acknowledgments to people and organizations who assisted you, and then a friendly close. Okay, half a page to a page. That's pretty much it. The next thing is your title page, and it should include title of the report, name and title of the primary reader, which is me, name and title of the authors, and a date of completion. And then you have acknowledgments and disclaimers. Acknowledgments are a polite way to give credit to individuals or organizations that have been instrumental in the production of the document, generally in a supportive role, such as organizing access or authorizing resources. Okay. Legal disclaimers, on the other hand, are increasingly common. Usually they consist of a standardized text provided by your organization's legal counsel, which we don't have. You guys can just create one. Could be pulled off the internet. You guys could easily use AI to create one for you. You are not necessarily required to write it yourself, but you're required to have it on there. And the textbook on page 121 has a couple of examples. And then it gets into the actual findings and recommendations of the report. Okay, you need context, you need methodology, you need recommendations. So context is a summary of what happened. Methodology is why do we care? Okay, so if you do an airport or an aviation museum, okay, in the context, talk about what's there, what's available. In the methodology, talk about why whatever is there, why is it important? Why do we care? What can we learn from it? And then findings and recommendations, are there improvements to be made? Suggestions, what stood out the most? Those types of things would go there. And if you guys look at pages 122 all the way to 124, it tells you what needs to go in that main bulk of the report itself. And then, starting on page 125, goes over the table of contents, okay, which is pretty self-explanatory. Word can create a table of contents for you if you know what you're doing. And then you need a list of tables and figures. Most people only use like 3 tables and figures, and so there's just a list of them and what they are. That's pretty much it. So it takes up like 4 lines, and yeah, that's it. And then you have some formatting examples on pages 126, 127, a little more depth about the discussion and conclusions that you're going into. And then on 129, it tells you what a glossary is. So you're gonna put technical terms in the glossary with their meanings, and then references and appendices. Okay. So again, heavily used chapter 7 for this assignment. Chapter 8 is more about how to control a single document when there's 3, 5, 10, 20 people working on one document. Okay. You need to make sure that you are mindful of, like for this class, for example, we actually could easily have quite a few people that are on active duty and they're across the world. You still have to work as a team. Okay, we are in the process in spring, summer of 2025 of creating a fully online bachelor degree program, which means that we could have people from all across the nation in the class. You guys still have to work together. Okay, but you have to be mindful of that. Be mindful of time changes. Be mindful of cultural differences. Be mindful of uh, single parents trying to work. Okay, that doesn't mean that they don't have to do things. They definitely still have to do things. Okay, but your job is to help motivate the entire group. Whoever you are, that is your job. Help motivate the entire group. Okay. I suggest assigning jobs. It talks about it in the textbook. It talks about creating a shareable document and group work in general. So my top tips for this specific assignment, practice being motivating for others rather than being controlling of others. Okay, your job is to create motivation by being positive, being energetic, keeping people together, check in often, take initiative, don't put blame on people, okay? And you guys, this group work, and it says this on one of the module overview pages. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5. It's probably 4, module overview 4. The group work that you do for this in this class is tiny, tiny compared with what you're going to be doing in the real world. So take advantage of it. Learn from it, okay? Help it develop. Use it to help you develop your personal persona.